Welcome to a Drop Tent Media production.
Welcome to another episode of Seriously Dad. I'm Jay Yoder. We've got my co-host Al Davis in the house. We had a great episode today. You're going to love it. We have Justin Lamar, huge on the Philly comedy scene, great dad. We talked about non-traditional families today, how we handle the holidays. We even gotten into a little debate on spanking. I mean, we talked about it all from race to gender to LGBTQ. We covered the gamut today, and it was really cool. Even Neil hopped in. We got to learn a lot about Neil today. I loved it. So I hope you enjoyed it. We got more coming. Stick around. Check out this new episode of Seriously Dad.
Seriously, Dad.
Seriously Dad. Two father comedians out of Philadelphia. Seriously Dad.
Dad. Seriously.
Dad.
Seriously. Seriously.
Oh, man, I'm excited for today. We're in episode 3 already. I can't believe it. Today, we're diving into non-traditional families and traditions. I think it's going to be great. Today, we got Justin Lamar with us here, man. I'm so glad you're in here.
Justin Lamar, the
Thank you
best
for
dressed
having me.
comedian in Philadelphia.
How about it?
Right? The drip. He walks in here with that coat. The drip is amazing.
He said it.
Yeah.
He said
That's it. You only need one person to say it.
He
Motherfucker
said
start
it.
repeating
I'm
it.
running with it.
There you go. No, you're very funny, man. One of my favorite people in the comedic scene in this area.
Appreciate
Definitely
you.
one of the best dressed. Show everybody your wedding band real quick, because this is a fucking thing. Look at this
That's
wedding band.
serious.
Can y'all
Look
see
at that shit. Look at that shit.
That's
Yo,
mine's-
LeBron's got one like that.
This is for the hoes specifically. Like, ho, you saw this ring.
Yeah,
this is planning ahead.
Did your wife
This-
pick that out?
No, I picked this
You picked it
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
but you
I,
knew
want,
you
I didn't
like
want to get the basic.
Nah,
I'm
you
sorry,
don't
sorry,
Yeah,
Jay.
don't,
Sorry,
yeah,
I didn't want to
no.
get the basic.
I'm a basic bitch. I'm a basic bitch.
You
I don't
got the
care.
basic bitch. I didn't want that.
Yeah, you
I
got
wanna
no,
do
he's
something
he's
about
definitely blinging right there. One of the best dressed comedians of Philadelphia. Shit, bro. Why don't you tell us a little something that we need to know about you? Why don't you let you tell us about you?
Yes, sir. First of all, happy to be here. Jump Set Media,
Hey,
Jay Yoder, Neil
Oh, yeah.
Wood. Oh, is Neil going to speak this episode? Or is he going to hide back
he may
there?
say-
No, he
Okay.
popped in. He was.
All right.
he did last time, yeah.
Al Davis. First of all, I'm just grateful to be here. I'm a Philadelphia-based comedian. I've been in the comedy scene since about 2018. So, going on 4 or 5 years. I'm a dad,
Yes.
like you two.
How old are your kids?
My kids are my daughter's turning 4 on Tuesday, December the 20th.
Okay.
We just celebrated. We just had a little brunch for it, which
Nice.
was dope. I have a son who's 2, who will be 3 in April. So
Wow.
I'm in the thick of it.
You're in it.
I'm in the thick.
You're
of it.
in it right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
So let me ask you. So I keep on saying let me ask you, but I already know something about you. So we're gonna. For those of you who don't know, if you can't tell by looking at me, this complexion right here, this is a biracial young man right here. My dad is a Jewish white man. My mom's a black woman, African American woman, and it's interesting. What's even more interesting is you are the black man who is married to the white woman.
Yeah. Boogie boogie.
Okay. Now look,
Yeah.
I know the stories. I've been on. I know.
Yeah, you know what it is.
But I got to imagine from the word go, shit has been a little different for you. Is that a good assumption, or am I just talking shit?
No, you're 100% right. You know the stereotypes. I will say, ever since Get Out, it's been way harder. You know what I'm saying? Like we kind of got into a relationship in a sweet spot of time. I met her in 2013, and I feel like not that racism was gone,
Right.
but it wasn't front page every day.
Okay. Okay.
But it's been a journey. It's been a journey.
So when we talk about the difficulties, before we even talk about the kids, just the relationship itself, when you guys were dating or building your relationship, were you getting a lot of smoke from black people? Were you getting a lot of smoke from white people? Were you getting a lot of smoke from all directions?
Probably get more smoke from black people, honestly.
Yeah. Okay.
White people are very, very, very cool about it. They're not going to say nothing until you leave.
right. They're gonna tell
Black
you
people,
friend.
look at this motherfucker right
Right.
here. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, it's funny because even with interracial dating, like I grew up in an area that had a good mix of everybody, but I didn't want the black smoke, and I just didn't see myself dating a white woman when I was in high school,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
I remember actually there was like a juncture in my life where I kind of made that choice. That juncture was college,
Okay.
and that's when I had got smoke. Like from that point on, like my girlfriend before, my wife was white as well, so
Okay.
I was experienced. I knew the terrain.
You know how it was. All right. Yeah.
funny story. I remember I was living in Lancaster, PA, and we was going to this place called Turkey Hill. Y'all know about Turkey Hill?
I know about Turkey
Wait,
Hill. Are you
like
kidding
the
me?
ice cream joint?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it's-
just
it's
the,
Cold
it's,
Cuts
like
and shit?
Wawa. It's like
like
North,
Wawa,
it's like Northeast
7-Eleven,
Wawa.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I went to Turkey Hill. Me and my girl at the time. You know, we're gonna go pick up the half gallon of peach tea or whatever. We pull up. There was a black and a Puerto Rican girl to the car to the left of us. We said nothing. We just walked in. It was summertime. Left the windows down. We came back from getting our drinks, and on the note,
There's no, yeah.
there was a note.
Yeah.
How did you know?
I don't know.
How did you know?
Okay, I gotta hear this.
There was a note on the seat that said, "White bitch, I could have your man if I wanted to."
God damn, that is aggressive. Okay, now let me ask real questions. Was she good looking enough to have her man? Was she a good looking woman?
My ex?
No,
No, the
the
Puerto
what are
Rican.
the people who put that
Or
in there?
Yeah, she was.
Okay.
She was. She was.
So
She
she got it
was.
right. She wasn't wrong. She got it
She
right.
was, but she had a baby in the back. She was already spoken for.
So no, she could have.
she was already spoken for. So it was just.
Wow.
Did that shake the girl at the time? Is this
Did she see it? Did you let her see
Yeah,
it?
well, I think she found it.
Oh, she's the one who
I
found
think
it.
she found it. I was riding shotgun.
Wow.
And yeah, she saw it. And then, I mean, you know, it's
hurt? Was she hurt or was
you
she
crumple
just like,
and
this is
throw
what
it out the
is?
window?
what was her reaction? I think she was like, why would she? I think it was more confusion. Like, why are you mad?
Why are we talking?
Yeah,
this?
why are we mad? Why are we mad at each other right now? So I think it
Wow.
was like more like confusion.
And were you kind of like, listen, this is what happens. You dating a beautiful black man right now,
Oh, Jesus.
and there's well, come on, he's a beautiful black man.
He is a
Come on, he's
beautiful black man, but
Let's
like,
get in there.
but like, you just dive right into that.
But you know, but it's like, yeah, good looking black dude. And were you like, this is kind of what you're up against, boo? Like, people are gonna
Yeah,
see this
man.
and feel something.
How do you know he wasn't in an ugly duckling stage at that point? First off,
Yeah, look at this.
This was before Invisalign. This was before. This was before Invisalign. So I did come up a little bit, but nah, it's you know, I feel like what happens with dating in general, like with black people, and I don't know if white people are like this, but if you see, like, if you're a black man and you see a black woman with a white man, I feel like there's because I've felt things like, damn, how come we didn't meet each other first? Like, you're supposed to meet every black person before before you go start dating somebody else, and it's just not like that. Because I've dated plenty of black women, plenty of Spanish women. Like, it just so happened that the woman I fell in love with
It's not black.
is not black,
And you didn't plan
and
that.
I didn't
You
plan it, nor did I choose it over.
Right. You just, I'm the same way. I like beautiful women. I like.
Yeah, I'm just.
If you're beautiful, we could. No, I'll talk to anyone. But as far as relationship, if I'm into you, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
I don't have time to care what you.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I think in reality that wouldn't. When you're in it, like, you know, if you're thinking about what other people are saying, that's one thing. But like when you're in it and that feeling's there and that chemistry that, you know, we talk about is happening, that the skin color does not come into play at all. I think for anybody. And the only thing that comes into is the external for it. I always think about because I'm a baseball guy. I love the movie 42. And because I really think a lot of this is talk, because it's like that kid in the scene where him and his dad are in the stands, and then he's watching his dad and his friends yell at him, and then all of a sudden he starts yelling. But I think in his heart that's not there. These are learned behaviors of a culture and a society that's been here for a while. Now, when you were dating your now wife, how were each of your families with it? Did you feel any sense or inkling, even if it wasn't said, that one, nobody cared, or two, were there signs that, you know, there's going to be a bumpy road?
So I was fortunate enough, my immediate family didn't give me any hesitation or pushback because, well, number one, I heard he dated a white girl that was amazing. Like, they wanted me to marry her.
They already did that.
Yeah. So I mean, don't get me wrong, there's still ignorance of the other side.
Right.
You know, of what they have and what they don't have. Like, I remember one time, my mom gonna be pissed if she hears this. I'm about to call her out. But actually, there was a teacher in Florida who I think his wife got fired from her job, and the husband went to like the school board meeting and started shooting it up, right? Whoa. And my mom said ignorantly, I was like, see, white people can't handle being broke, right? Right? Like, that's what happens. Like, black people used to being broke. So like, we can handle it. They can't handle that. And then she said about my girlfriend at the time, she's like, you know, your girlfriend probably got like a trust fund or something like that. I'm like, no, she don't got no trust fund. And she's like, she probably do. You don't know. I was like, I've been dating her for 6 years. If anybody would know, I would know.
Right.
So that was it. That's the ignorance part, but it was never like you can't date her because she's white. Like she just, not to be cliche, she looked at the content of the character of the woman I was dating, and it was I've only dated high character women.
Good.
Like, I'm fortunate.
Well, and
to say that.
that's the bottom line. That's
Right.
that's where all of the chemistry and that stuff comes from,
Right.
is because the quality of the character.
Right. And like as far as her family's concerned, they're amazing people. You know what I mean? Sometimes they might like to say the N-word in the Biggie song. So you got to navigate that a little bit. Like, oh, don't do that around me.
Got weird.
Don't do that shit around me. But no, still good quality, high character humans. All high character humans. Like now, extended family is where it gets dicey.
Right. Yeah. And tell me a little bit of the diciness of the extended family, and more so, us talking about being parents. What future do you see for your children, and what, if anything, have you experienced, and how are you going to approach things if and when they come up? And by things, you probably know what I'm talking about.
Well, you could talk about a lot of different things.
I'm talking about like your kid. Are your kids pretty fair skinned? Pretty
yeah. We can talk about that.
Okay, so at some point, and this is something that I deal with my daughter. So I'm lighter than you are for sure.
Right.
And her mother is white. Mm-hmm. At some point, I know for a fact my daughter is going to be at a gathering, an event, a sporting venue or something, and she's going to hear people saying things, and she's going to think to herself, well, my family is that, but these guys don't know that my family's that.
Right.
And this is really fucking with me, and I don't like where I am right now. Right.
Yeah. So honestly, man, the crazy part is like I can't even really prepare them for that.
Yeah.
Because I got to hang with the black kids. Like I fit in with the black people, right?
Right.
They're not necessarily going to fit in with the black people, nor will they fit in with the white people.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be too black for some white groups. They're going to be too white for all black groups.
Right.
It's
going to come up. Being light skinned, it always comes up.
Yeah. Because there was even that adversarial nature between light skinned and dark skinned black people.
Yeah.
You a house nigga, you a field nigga.
Yeah, damn, we were doing that. Yeah,
we all in the same school. What you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
we actually play on the same basketball squad too, so I don't know why this is coming up.
Yeah, so it's no. I honestly, maybe you could help me with this because I don't like. One thing I hate about, not even about being black, but I'm just gonna have to say about being black, is black people hate it. What you mean you hate being black? No, it's not that. It's I hate that that's the basis of our identity.
It's just being black.
You're black. Like if I was a great painter, I wouldn't be a great painter. He's like, oh yeah, he's a great black painter.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, nah, I just paint.
That motherfucking nigga not paint. Yeah.
I think that's and I'm speaking as a white all white family, so I will tread lightly. But I think there's a thing there where it's about we're capturing a pride of a culture that was undervalued for so long, that I can when certain people are coming from an avenue of like, well, there was so long that you couldn't have been a painter because you were black, that now it's like, because I think when we're talking about any of this stuff, like even like as I'm listening to you guys talk, thinking about like, I think some of these things we could sub out for like, other pieces, like you're saying your daughter might be at some point addressed as not fitting in part of a culture, but those could happen for various, physical traits or other things.
Right. Well, your daughter may experience that
outside of that. Yeah. Like my daughter's autistic, and like when you go up and talk, like she doesn't, that conversation piece. Today we went to the Please Touch Museum, and they open up every 3 months before they open so that families with autism and special needs can go in before it gets too busy and crazy. And she used to not talk till she was 5. And then today she went to now she loves going to the little supermarket downstairs, and she dresses up, and she wanted to be the deli person. And so, but she was engaging with other kids. She was like, hey, come, like, hey, what would you like? And she's weighing the fish and like giving it to them. But then like the one kid went to go grab it because he just wanted to grab it. And she's like, no. Like she started going,
no, you're not supposed to shoplift.
But like, so she's going to have to navigate like that. No. And grabbing that kid, like that's not going to fly at some point. Like, so she's got to realize like there's going to be things there for her that she's got to navigate, that because she doesn't look different. Like that's the other thing for her. It's like, if there's nothing externally, you look at her, she's this beautiful blonde little girl. Yeah. But then she starts talking. You're like, wait a second, is this girl a foreign exchange student? Like,
you would deal with like the same thing. It'd just be like your other daughter may be at a party or something, and maybe hearing other parents talk.
She's gonna have to,
or hears them say something that may not be true, even because when it comes to autism, I think people don't really know what they don't know
don't know.
about it,
Yeah,
and
they
they
don't.
say a lot.
Yep.
So she could be playing in the other room, and she could hear the woman, mom number 2 say, "Oh, well, when they have autism, it's X, Y, and Z."
Yep.
And she could be like, "That's not true." And now I feel some type of way.
I think my
And-
younger daughter will stick up, and we go to enough of these events. Like heck, on Friday we went down to Temple. We're not far from here, actually.
Yeah.
And they had a Temple women's basketball game, and it was autism. Actually, the Donna Richardson, who I think is the coach for Temple, she has 2 kids who are autistic,
Okay.
and so they hosted an autism night. We got to go on the court with the national anthem, stay next to the players.
Beautiful.
Right? It was awesome, and
Yeah.
it's like, and I was like, oh, you're gonna let her stay on the field. I'm like, I don't know if you know what's going on here. So she saw herself on the TV in the middle of the national anthem.
Oh.
Dad, I'm on TV. I'm like, it's like some of those things happen, but because of awareness, I think people
She
can
gets some-
navigate
yeah.
those. But there's going to be moments like I don't want her to go to sleep. I've seen horror stories of girls in like later elementary, middle school, inviting an autistic girl to a party, pretending they're her friend.
Oh my
And
God,
then-
that shit is heavy as
And then,
fuck.
you know what I mean? And
yeah.
so, like, for me, I'm on high alert. The minute she says she is a friend, as much as that would warm my heart, I'm going to be on high alert
You got
because
better.
they could be messing with her because she is such a sweetheart, and she's just going to want to dive into that.
Yeah.
And that's going to scare the life out of me. Yeah, at that point. So it's like it's tricky. And I think even about my own upbringing, talk about non-traditional families, even though we were all white, they were like both my parents, we talked about it a couple episodes ago, got together, played house, and then realized, hey, we're both gay. And so now when I married my wife, her family is like, looks like they were from Duck Dynasty meets like, the NRA, but they're like honestly the sweetest people, but they come from a very strict religious background,
Yep.
lived up on a farm, that whole deal. And then, so our so we flipped the script on our wedding. So it'd be interesting to talk about you in a second with this. We ended up saying, well, we want to make our own path. My wife and I are like, you know what? We both kind of felt a little bit like black sheep within our family, and we wanted to kind of pave our own path. So we ended up, getting married in a non-denominational church with my college mentor and professor, who was the chaplain at our sinus, who was a black chaplain, and then our readers were like people from the LGBT community reading non-traditional reading. So we like flipped the script on the whole wedding.
You broke
still in the
tradition.
church, like we did this, and we had an amazing wedding, and everybody was there, and both sides came together, and it was really a beautiful thing that I wouldn't have anticipated. Every time I dated someone, I wondered when I was going to share with him who my parents were.
Oh,
You know what I mean? At what point was I going to share that? Because I could hide that. What we're talking about here, you guys can't hide that. I could go witness protection and
you can lie it out. You could still be lying it out.
And so like that's when I knew I was going to marry my wife, when I brought her home and said, hey, here are my parents, and this is this, and if you're cool, then we're cool. If not, then whatever. But that's nerve-wracking to do that, So that's a
I
different.
got
battle.
way more questions for you than
All right, go ahead.
Me, but no.
What was your union? What was your
let's talk about
your
yours.
union. Like, so you got married, right? What was it? Was it traditional, non-traditional? Was it weird? Was it comfortable? Was it?
I'm actually kind of closer to Jay with his story. As far as like we were not, her and I aren't the traditional people. She grew up in an extremely Christian household, so much so that it pushed her away.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Not that she doesn't believe in God or it even matters really, but she just wasn't trying to do the traditional marriage. We had a beautiful wedding. It was amazing. Both sides came together. It was dope. But I got my uncle to marry us because he's an ordained pastor.
Okay.
And I say the biggest drama that really came out of it was me and my wife decided to uninvite the racist uncle, right? And I'll put him in air quotations.
You got air quotes, yeah.
I'll put him because
well, whose uncle's racist?
hers.
Okay.
Hers.
All right.
If my uncle's racist, that's understandable.
right. We all got that one.
Hers, so it's funny because it caused a rift in our family for a long time, which was never my intention. I just didn't want any of that energy at my wedding.
Okay. How racist we talking? Like David Duke, like Clint, like guy got a hood in the trunk kind of deal, or like
he got a hood at home. I'm sure it's in a wardrobe, but very, very nice on a. I met the guy. I met the guy.
Like behind.
But he didn't think I knew how he made Megan feel all these years ago. So she had told when we got together, I was asking about her family, and I'm like, look, I like you, but I ain't signing up for none of the bullshit from your family. I'm not dealing with that.
Mhm.
So that was her opportunity to tell me, like, well, Uncle so and so is like this. So
now when she said is like this, did she say, yo, my uncle is racist as fuck, and this is not, or was she like, well, he's kind of sort of prejudiced, or did she give you the goods?
No, she gave me all I really needed to know. Like she told me, like, he said things before that that still to this day make me uncomfortable, and I'm not uncomfortable, like really comfortable with him. So I'm like, all right, if you don't even like this guy that much, why would I invite him to our wedding?
Absolutely.
Right.
But in doing that, family started having to pick sides. And we just got back on good terms with her grandmother, which sucked because I never wanted.
It is always
because grandma got to pick sides. Like I'm either go with my daughter and her husband, who's the uncle, or I want to go with my granddaughter. I think she picked wrong. I'll be 100% honest. She fucked your grandma. You fucked up.
Yeah.
But no, the thing is, we're cool now. She got a picture of her on the phone to commence the truce that we had. But no, it was just a terrible situation because I never want to be the person in a relationship to come and rips her away from family or you know what I mean? Like that wasn't my intent. I just don't want that type of energy at my wedding.
No.
Yeah, I just really didn't want it. And we didn't get in. I got all the excuses in the world from the aunts that were trying to defend him, like, oh well, he grew up that way. He did it. I was like, I don't give a fuck about none of that.
Yeah. Right. Because you got a brain. You know how your brain works.
Yeah. So
So there was a little bit of beef there when you
there was definitely some stat. I mean, we still don't talk to that side of the family ever. I mean, I don't really care, but I care for my wife.
Does it affect her? Does it bother?
Nah, because she don't give a fuck. Care about
well, now let's flash forward to like holidays. So like Thanksgiving just happened. Well, what was like Thanksgiving like for you, the kids, and the family? Like, where'd you go? Did you have to go to a couple different places? How do you bridge that gap?
Yeah. So she's a product of divorce. Her parents are divorced.
Oh, so now you got an extra.
So it's an extra. So we always got to choose. Well, like I said, her family is really high character people. Like all high character people. Like,
but when you say you got to choose now, like, so if you did Thanksgiving this year, does that mean you'll do the next one? Like, you guys, are you more systematic, or are you like game time decision?
Yeah, we're systematic with it. If we spend Thanksgiving with my family this year, we're gonna go spend Thanksgiving with hers next year. If we do Christmas with hers this year, we'll do.
There you go.
So that's how we.
So
do
you're
it.
not trying to, because I respect that, because I always hated I know there was a movie, I think it went like 4 Christmases, like where you have to they had to Vince Vaughn or something, they had to bounce around, because I always felt like that with my family, like even as a kid, like going to different sides. And now because of my sides being split, and even hers family is so big that they have just because of sheer size, and it gets overwhelming.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So what my wife and I did, we again staying non-traditional this year, we're like, okay, Thanksgiving, the 4 of us are going away. Boom. So we just went to Lancaster, stayed at the Cartoon Network Hotel.
Nice.
And just did a family, went to Dutch Wonderland, saw Santa, we did some, and then we came home and put the tree up. And we're like, okay, we're gonna do that, because I hated the madness of running and going to 7 different houses, and it's too much for Alicia. It's just too much change. It's too much going on.
Insane.
Well, that's what's nice about having kids. You can start being selfish.
Yes.
It's about our kids now. It's not about
it's your family.
It's my family.
Yeah. This is you now.
Yeah,
it's I don't want her in the car for 6 hours.
Yeah,
Done.
exactly. And you got to respect that.
So what's Christmas going to look like? What's Christmas going to look like for you and the kids?
Christmas this year, we will be spending it at my parents' house.
Okay.
Which is
sleep over the night before deal?
Nah. They only live 15 minutes from us, so we'll wake up in the morning,
cool.
Open gifts, go over there, eat dinner, have a good time.
Yeah, you have siblings. Do your kids have cousins and such?
A lot. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're all going to be there.
No, my dad don't like all. My dad kind of racist. He don't like my black family either. Nah, my dad is just, my dad's dope, but he don't want a whole bunch of kids running around.
No, a lot of people don't want a whole bunch of kids.
He ain't trying to. And my mom's family's deep, deep.
So have you ever had an issue with your kids? Are their cousins black, white, between?
So
mixed?
They got a lot of black cousins and a lot of white cousins.
On your side of the family, they're mostly black.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mostly. Yeah.
Now, is there ever any issues there?
Not. No,
Well, they're
not
so young now at 4
yeah,
and 6,
yeah.
right?
I
You gotta
wouldn't.
start them early. That's the thing, Jay.
I wouldn't
Oh,
say.
yeah.
I wouldn't,
It's
That's the
turned
thing, Jay.
into
You gotta
an
I
start
wouldn't
early.
say yet. I mean, the first time I brought Megan to one of my family functions, like in the hood, like
Mhm.
it was slick comments, but nothing that
No,
I
okay.
wanted to even address it, like and not even by anybody I really cared about. Like,
Okay.
like, you ain't worth the time or the energy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Um,
important. I think that's an important statement. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Because people are going to talk those like the note, the Turkey Hill, like whatever, like move it on. At
Yeah.
this point, move it on because sometimes people like if their own lives are
Are
sucky,
fucked up.
they're like, then it's like, oh, I can't watch an episode of the Kardashians, so let me create one right now.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like you don't get, but that only gets air if you give it air. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
And to a fault, me and my wife almost look too perfect together. Like she smiles a lot, I smile a lot. So
Yeah.
people think we're always happy. We're not.
Nobody
We are
nobody
not.
is that happy.
We're putting on
We
our
are
best
really,
show.
we are really not. But I think when people see that,
It's just
they just
perfect.
like, oh, I hate that. It's like seeing fresh snow.
That's
You
like
just wanna-
social media.
You want to
the
piss in it or
Christmas card.
step
Do you
in
do a Christmas card?
Oh, it definitely does a Christmas card.
Do you do a Christmas card? Do you send out a Christmas card with the family, like from the
We
beach?
have before. We have.
We don't do it. We
you
don't.
sell
And
them this year?
we deliberately don't do it. I got one today in the mail from a buddy of mine from high school, and I'm just like, your happiness.
Well, someone said,
Like, yeah, because I don't want to portray like anything that it's not. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's like my upbringing, like living like I did. My mom lived her life, and we talked about this before. Like she was meant to be in that Norman Rockwell Thanksgiving painting,
Mhm.
and she felt like she had to live that life and pretend even when she knew that wasn't her life.
Mhm.
And I don't want that. I don't want to, it's fine to post stuff on social media, but like I'm not posting anything that's not real. And if I'm going to post things about us smiling, then there's some times when my daughter's having a meltdown that like I'm okay sharing that too, because that happens. It's part of it. You know?
Christmas cards are like the original social media.
Oh, like, you know what I mean? Like
let me put
that's-
this in your face how perfect
and
we
like,
are.
what are we doing? We're
Yeah.
just like, what are we doing?
Right.
Like,
We happen to all be wearing the same
Call
fucking
me. You
swag.
want to say
know.
Merry
Yeah,
Christmas?
yeah.
Call me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll put you on speakerphone. You can talk to everybody.
Yeah.
Why am I got to send you this card?
Yeah.
It's I'm not down with that.
Yeah, I don't like
All
promoting.
right, I'm glad you guys said that because I am so adamant about the Christmas card. I hate it. I hate when I get them.
I think
sorry,
that as
No.
the world changes, though, I think a lot of these family traditions are going away, and I think that because our generation is like, this shit is stupid.
Yeah, what are
Like,
we
what are we doing? Like you said, putting a kid in a car for 4 hours on their
To go
day
see somebody they don't even really know.
Well, and that's
or
just
gonna
it.
remember.
That's
Or gonna
just
it.
remember. Like
And it's something that really pisses me off about that is that the older generations think they have the right just to touch kids because they're kids.
yeah.
Like,
and
come
then-
here,
yeah.
come give me.
Yeah.
And then when they don't want to touch
They
you
take
or be
offense.
interactive, like, oh,
What did I do to you? Oh, you're in a
you
mood
acting
today.
bougie. Like, what you
Yeah.
talk? You don't know you.
Yeah.
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 You
Well,
don't come around.
Well,
My sister
and Alicia, she backs in like she doesn't know how to hug. Like for her sensory stuff is really weird. So like she doesn't know how to hug traditionally. Like even me, I'm her dad. She'll back into you.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
so like, but like, or you'll go for a hug. Like she did this cheer camp the other day, and there's this girl that I have in class that's also a cheerleader and kind of looked out for her and
Nice.
is a sweetheart.
Very
and so
nice.
at the end, the girl was trying to like, oh, Alicia, and like you can see this moment where she tried to give her a hug. Alicia tried her best to do what she thinks
Did
a
a hug
is.
motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, some people feel let down. Like I think that girl
Yeah.
for a moment was like, oh, like, and it's just like, oh, she just doesn't know how. But regardless of that, or whether the kid just doesn't know you, there's these social norms that we're trying to break down that like I don't think are real. They were just the smoke and mirrors of what we thought
Bullshit,
life
yeah.
was supposed
Right.
to
Well,
be.
no, on the hug thing, I agree with you 100%. Telling a young man or woman, a kid, to be like, go hug that person, wrap your
It
arms
is
around them.
so
they're gonna
weird.
rub their face against yours. They may even kiss you. And I know who they are. You don't really know who they are, but go do that. And it's actually only doing it because it makes that person
Yeah.
feel good.
Exactly.
That's fucking
It's
a little weird.
And
It's a
then
little
we
weird.
wonder why. Like,
Yeah,
like
people
the, like
end
the
up in
rape culture
situations.
is what it is. Like
Yeah.
you're forcing
You're teaching them
You're-
that it's okay to be
touched by somebody you don't know.
told to do it, and you just do it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well,
I know.
let's take a step then. I want to talk about this then. What about punishing, spanking?
Oh shit! I
Yeah.
don't use my hands. I do not get physical.
No.
All feet, right?
All feet. I was gonna say. I was like, where's
Yeah.
this going?
It's all that
No.
MMA fighting.
So have
I
you,
headbutt a lot. I do a lot of choking.
Never?
I do a rear naked.
you've never
Yeah.
spanked your kid?
No, I've grabbed by the arm aggressively. Get
Okay.
over here, kind of
Yeah,
deal.
yeah.
I don't. Now I'm going to tell you why. Because I was physically corrected as a child.
Yeah.
And it got a little too far at points. And it makes you, I'm gonna be honest, it made me scared. It made me afraid to say how I really felt about things. It made me afraid to ask questions. It made me afraid to repeat myself. It made me afraid to be an honest human being because you're like, I don't want to get hurt.
Yeah, I don't want to trip this wire.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a
And, like,
landmine here. I
You
don't
know, and there's a difference between like stop, and then there's a difference of like
going too far.
pain is now really taking place.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't do that. I use my voice, but I don't even yell that much.
Yeah.
Because I feel like teaching a child that you can lose your cool and then get loud and yell is teaching them that in 24 years, when you're inside Enterprise Rent-A-Car and they don't give you the fucking thing you were looking for, you can now act a fool because that's normal.
Yeah.
And we all know that shit ain't normal. But you know,
It's
so
normal in a lot of places, though.
Right. It's not normal.
It's not
the norm.
acceptable.
Yeah. That's
It's definitely unacceptable,
Yeah.
but it is normal in a
Yeah.
lot of places. I grew up getting my ass.
I was gonna say like so now. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I grew
then
up getting my ass
Yeah, I was
lit
gonna-
up.
yeah.
But
and
that
now,
was-
but now you as a
But now
dad.
when you do it,
So now as a dad, I don't ever want to discipline my kids the way I don't want to say the way, not entirely. Like I still pop some ass. Sometimes I
Yeah.
forgot to,
Yeah.
and I will admit it's because I've lost my cool. It's
okay.
an absolute last resort. I don't know how to get through to you situation. So
Okay.
as much as I can, I am talking to my kids. And if I ever feel like I go too far, I've said sorry to a 2 and a 3-year-old.
I've said sorry.
I've said sorry
I said
more
sorry.
times to
Oh,
my
I-
children than my parents have ever probably said.
I
sorry to me.
apologize every time I've lost my cool, and especially with Alicia and stuff like that, because like you know, like you can have the patience of a saint sometimes, but she just gets on repeat on something, and it is in her head. She's
Oh,
on a
bro.
cycle,
Yep.
and you're driving, and you're trying to do this, and she's asking for this, that,
Oh,
and
the
that,
driving.
and you're like,
Oh.
you know what I mean? Like all of those things happen, and like you lose your cool, but I immediately because then as soon as I lose my cool on her like that, she starts bawling and apologizing, and oh my god, don't I feel like the biggest jackass
Oh yeah.
that ever. And so now I'm crying and I'm apologizing to her. We're both crying at this point,
Yeah.
but I think it's important to have that moment after, regardless. And I think spanking. Well, here's the thing: I did some research on it because I knew I was going to ask this question, and I was trying to look up like, is there an argument for spanking? And I found like an article that actually had been written by a Black publication that since in 2021 had put up that they removed the article and put a whole thing basically saying, hey, times are different. We hear this. This is what all the research says now. And then the only thing I ever saw that was pro, and this is something that I had experienced at a point in my life where you knew it was happening. It wasn't a rash decision. It wasn't somebody losing their cool. It was a determined consequence for what had happened. You knew it was coming, and then you knew afterwards that you were going to talk about that had happened and that it was almost to be like it's over now.
That was
moment-
written by the guy who said, "Go get the switch off the
Yeah.
tree,
Dude.
bring that shit in."
I
That was
used to
written by
go
that
get the
motherfucker.
switch.
Oh yeah.
Well, and I had kids. I remember these 2 kids in my neighborhood so on one of the every other weekends, with extended family, these 2 kids, when I walked into their house, they had paddles hanging.
We had a board
You
of
know what I
education.
mean? Like, they
baby.
were-
we had a board of education.
And so I
Board
think
of
if it doesn't come out of
Education, yeah.
rashness, and I guess if there's some thought there and there's a discussion that's happening and it's like, hey, this is the consequence for this behavior, but people are saying now, like, and that's what I agree with personally as a parent now, where I want to talk about the redirect with my daughter, especially. Everything's about redirecting the behavior, not what you did. Let's not focus on don't. Let's focus on what you should have done, or, you know, empower you to make a better decision the next time you get in this situation. But yeah, it's tricky. I don't want to hit my kids, and I've lost my cool and I've smacked an ass.
I think those are powerful words as a parent. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I was wrong.
I think that's so
You're right.
important.
I was wrong.
Because you're gonna make. I make at least 10 mistakes a day.
You know what I've realized about having kids? It's they are literally mirrors to you. Your good shit and your bad
They are
shit.
you. Oh yeah. You can't blame anybody else.
No, bro. Like, and they constantly remind me of ways I gotta be better. And to that article, I probably threaten more to spank than I actually do.
Right? Yeah.
Like, if you get out of bed again, I'm going to have to. Don't
Yeah.
make me do. Please.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Please don't make me do
I was
this.
like, oh, we do this the hard
You
way.
know, you know. So
Dude, it's so bad. I'm in the recliner and it's like one of those electric. I'm like, oh, don't let this recliner go down. Don't let this recliner go down. And it's like,
Yo,
We all different types of countdowns. I always in my head, always different types of countdowns. Like if I gotta get up, all different types of
If I
countdowns.
get to
I
here,
like yours is kind of like a glass little box off to the side. Like you want me to break this glass open? I'm gonna push that whoop ass button and then it's just gonna like drop off. Like,
no, the countdown is very effective.
Yeah.
The countdown is very effective.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing how effective counting down on my kids has been.
Yeah.
Like if there any
from 10, we start at 10, 3. What do you 3, 2, 1?
if I'm pissed, I'm starting at 5.
Oh, okay.
I usually the countdown.
Well, they
is
say
10.
it's a thing. It is a scientific thing
psychological.
because it's like this. You do it. It's they say even for people like who want to make a decision, like count down for yourself, and then there's this urgency in your brain that kind of like the finality's coming. I got to do.
I'm gonna tell you what, that countdown's so powerful. I do security at the club, right? Neil knows, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I got to deal with unruly customers,
You hit with a
I'm like,
countdown?
look, I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to move. And
Wow.
I don't even know what I'm going to do after 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But I caught myself doing it one
But
time.
it gets a reaction.
Yeah, it's like, all right.
And for Alicia, counting down is like for anything. I'm like, Alicia 10, Alicia 9. And then by the time she goes, I'm coming. And she's always trying to grab a book or two before we leave the house. Like it's like simple stuff. But just counting down, like even not as a threat, but just counting down for her, it works every time. If she doesn't answer it for the first 3 times, I just start counting down.
people at home know I don't have kids, but damn, I should have been doing that with my last ex. Like, I should like, we gotta leave the house. I'm gonna start at 20. I'm giving you 20 seconds.
But to Justin's point that they're mirrors. So now when because Alicia often we've had her in therapy since she was 18 months. So she now is like internalizing all the therapies. So now when she's upset about something and she's like, give it back or I'm going to count to 10. And she starts counting and I'm like, no, you can't have his bedtime. Like you can't have your tablet. No, I'm going to count to 10 because I've seen this work. So I'm going to try to use this strategy. You know what I mean? It's like adorable because you got, they start to learn the tricks or they start to internalize that. And the same thing, like I have this joke that I always tell about my daughter saying the F word. And during the pandemic, like, there was her aide was like, yeah, Alicia's been using the F word. And she was just trying to be cute. She's using it appropriately. Like she's using it in context that makes sense. But the problem was she was hearing me say it or whatever. I'm convinced. Yeah. And now she started reading a ton. And so now she switched to a different F word. She'd been saying fart. She called her teacher a big stinky fart. She's probably right. But she's so influential, whether it's hearing it from me or now these like these wimpy kid diaries and stuff like that. Yeah. So she's internally because they're going to pick up whatever. And so whether it's the aggressive nature of being hit, and now all of a sudden you get like that, get that adopted pet look like the new owner. Every time they flinch, you're going to flinch. So that's the problem. They say a lot of those articles also said that kids learned aggression and then they learn to internalize and then not and be too afraid to.
Well, I'll see my daughter hit her sister or vice versa. Oh, and I always say, like, I say, if you think you're going to go through life and you're going to strike somebody when you don't get what you want, you're going to go to jail. Yeah. Like, and I'm not trying to be like fun. Like that's what happens. No, right. You go around touching people and starting to hit people. You're going to end up in jail and eventually a prison cell. Like that's real shit. So I tell her, I'm like, you better learn to control yourself. Don't do that because if you go through life acting like that, you're going to end up on the wrong side of the law. And that's just real shit. You know what I mean? But we teach those at young ages. And we don't even realize that. Like you mentioned cursing. I don't even curse. You curse?
I do, but it's because I've.
Yeah, it's I don't curse as part of my speech. Yeah, but like if I'm in it, then that's one of the words. Like if I hit a pothole, you should see. You would be like, oh my god, this guy's got Tourette's.
Yeah,
like,
no, I do watch my mouth in front of the kids. I absolutely do. It's fun. It's funny how your friends don't watch their mouth in front of your kids. Like, no, bro, like you hear my daughter's here, right? Like, yo, man, this bitch said the craziest shit. Yeah. I'm like, yo, my daughter's here. Oh, my bad.
Phone, bro.
Yeah, so this hoe, I'm like, yo, chill. And it's funny, I got to reprimand my friends, but
I have friends that don't even answer the phone. Like if I'm in the car, I used to put them on speakerphone.
Yeah,
I don't even do that anymore.
You can't. Like, well, there's a certain age where now you're like, oh, I can't. Yeah, I can't. Amanda would like catch me. She's like, you can't watch this movie right now. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I just like I didn't think about it, and then I'm like, oh, yeah,
Apocalypse Now. Come on.
I made the mistake of playing Call of Duty in front of my son.
Oh shit!
He is obsessed. He'll make a gun out of anything.
Yeah,
he'll make a gun out of anything. He's running around, pow, 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 pow.
Yeah, that's
I'm like, yo, you got to chill, bro.
Yeah, but there's. Sorry, go ahead. I cut you off.
No, I'm just saying. It's it got to the point where he came home from school. We put him in a new school the other day, and he's like, Daddy, no weapons at school. I'm like, oh my God, if somebody told you not to do that.
Someone had to tell you.
Someone had to tell you. So yeah, it's very important.
But it's, I think boys,
but
boys have that in. I mean, I have girls, you have girls, but like I have, so I have 2 sister-in-laws, and the oldest one has he's like 10 or 11 or whatever, and he's really into guns now. And Nerf guns, all of that stuff.
Right.
So I think that there's a portion there, but he doesn't. His dad's not around. His dad was in and out of jail, and isn't around. So like my other brother-in-law and I feel like a lot of like. Trying to have some kind of influence, but we're just not there every day.
Right.
We only see him at some of those holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, it's hard. And you see like, he doesn't have that influence. And I think my sister-in-law, to her credit, is doing the best she can with the hand she's dealt. And she's got to pick which battles to fight.
Right.
And certain things are boys just being boys.
Yeah.
And so like, I think, having some redirect in the house or having something is healthy. But for some of those kids that don't have the redirect and are continuing to either be able to play those games because mom's at work and the babysitter doesn't care. So I think it's important, for us to be there to redirect.
Parenting
that.
is a skill.
It's
really a skill.
Yeah.
Well, and
You
it
guys are
takes time.
And you and your wife, you are on the same page parenting wise, 100%.
We got different styles, but we definitely want the same things. Fortunately for me, I actually met my wife at a school for kids with moderate to severe autism. So
oh wow,
from the time I met her, I knew she was going to be an amazing mother. I had no, because obviously the patience you need to deal with a child with autism is.
I don't tell my wife enough. Do you tell your wife she's a good mom?
I told her that 35 times yesterday because she really is. She really she thinks about things that I didn't even know I should think about.
Well, I feel the same way about my wife, and I never tell her.
You got
why is that?
I know.
Is that her love language?
I don't know why. I don't know why. I guess I just assume I'm a bit.
And then cut this clip up and send it to
Amanda,
her.
I swear, I honestly, she's a godsend because I wouldn't know what to do. I just don't I don't feel like I'm equipped with the kind of empathy she has. And when I proposed to her, I remember I talked about that passage of, love is kind, love is patient.
Right.
Like those were the words that came to me when I thought of her, because that's how she was. She was patient with me.
Right.
I mean, I was with someone prior to her, my high school sweetheart, that I thought was the one, and she destroyed my heart. My compass was broken, and Amanda stuck with me through the recalibration process.
Right.
And I don't tell her enough, and it's a sin. I hate that I don't tell her enough. And I don't
you
know
realize
why.
it though. You realize
it, but it's like I still need to, because you get into your everyday habits of the routine, and then I don't want it to come off as inauthentic. But like in my heart, it's just like, it's one of those things. Like she's in the club, like she's my ride or die. She's my woman. Like that's like, she's my best friend. She's like, she's like, I don't have anybody else. Like even the pandemic taught me that, because when stuff went down, the only people on my roof for now is my mom that's still alive, my biological mother that's alive, and then my 2 daughters and Amanda. Like that's my world. Like if stuff goes down, the apocalypse happens.
That's your tribe. You got to take care of all those people. Yeah, you got to.
But so yeah, and I wish I tell her more.
So how'd you met your wife at a school for autism?
Yeah.
Does she work there, or is she
not anymore? We were both out of the teaching field.
Oh, you used to be a teacher?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
And your wife used to be a teacher.
Yeah. That was most of my professional career up until.
Really?
I hated being. I'm right back to being broke again doing comedy. This is crazy. It was full circle.
Full circle.
I left teaching to get into sales. That's why I did corporate sales.
We talked about that one.
Yeah, so I got into that.
Do you think you were kind of tricked to get out of teaching to get into sales?
Yeah, chasing the money.
Because
absolutely
part of you like teaching.
I love teaching.
And then someone's like, you could make 4 times the amount of money.
Said, word.
Yeah. And then
I almost did that. I'm glad I didn't.
And you're like, wait a minute. Yeah. When I was teaching, it was a different world. I didn't realize I was switching worlds altogether.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I fit in. I'm probably a way better teacher than I am a salesperson.
Okay.
Because if I don't care about the product, I don't.
Move on to the next.
I got into sales because I know I can get people to like me.
Yeah.
In the conversation, but.
Well,
Salesforce.
Yeah. Well, I will say is so to kind of round out the episode, I wanted to think about, are there any big holidays? We know what are there any small holidays that you guys make a big deal out of?
Any non-big holidays. So
I'll give you a perfect example. For me, I grew up in Scranton, and so St. Patty's Day was huge because we had like the biggest parade the week before they have them in New York and Boston.
Right.
We have one, so a lot of those people come and do their run through. So the city goes nuts. And like when I was turned 21, my birthday was always the week of. So like it's a big the bars open at 7 a.m. 17-cent draft. So before kids.
Yeah.
That was Amanda. And that's when I knew Amanda was cool because I brought her back to Scranton. She got the Scranton vibe. She met my crazy family. We did parade day. And then the next year I couldn't go. She went instead without me and hung out with my friends and family.
Okay, yeah.
But like it was such a big deal for St. Patty's Day, and it was just a cool day to let loose. And even once I became a teacher, it was like, oh, I'm nowhere near my district. I can let loose and be a normal, like just young adult at that point. And it was just this holiday that for whatever reason is silly, but yeah, I dove into it and just loved St. Patty's Day every year. Is there any holiday like that you guys blow up?
I wouldn't say that we go crazy over holidays like that. Like I hate Valentine's Day, so I don't know. I hate the holiday. It's a Hallmark holiday. Same probably the way you feel about Christmas cards.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But I will say my daughter has put the spark back in Halloween for us.
Oh, there you go.
My daughter's a Halloweenie.
She loves Halloween, man. Like we like 3 months before we're watching Halloween videos.
Yeah.
She still listens to Halloween videos at Christmas.
She's picking the outfit early, the costume early, right? She knows what she wants.
So she's actually put the fun back in Halloween for us. And then Megan, honestly, I think she's excited about it because like I told you, she grew up in a super Christian household.
Yeah.
Halloween was devil's holiday. Celebrate this devilish holiday. So now it's her family. We could, you know what I mean? Go a little crazy about it. So I think Halloween is the one that
I love Halloween. It's just taking them now because mine are young and like we'll just walk the neighborhood nearby where we live now has like one of those swooping like streets that are like pretty residential. Yeah. And now it's great because I just have to walk them and then they go up to the door now and they do it all by themselves. They are advocating.
You dressing up? Do you dress up?
I didn't.
Oh, shit.
You
dress up?
No, I ain't gonna lie to you.
You ain't shit.
I'm really not.
Honestly,
I need to get more into it, man, because like it's not gonna get cooler to dress up as I get older.
So our school does. The teachers at my school do a big one in our high school. 2,000 kids come. It's crazy. I was for 6 years before the pandemic the door guy, and so we would do a different theme. Like one year I was Willy Wonka, and then some of them were Oompa Loompas, or I was a pirate. And so I had in the past, and then like the last couple of years, I just I had. I give. I'm
gonna start trying again next year. This year I'm trying.
Halloween's a good one.
Yeah,
I should do Halloween.
I
don't dress up.
I just got a text right before we started this, and my wife's telling me to go pick up a dreidel and chocolates because my daughter wants to celebrate Hanukkah. Yeah. I would just go. Actually, my mom dated a Jewish woman for a while when I grown up, so I lived in a Jewish neighborhood in Scranton, and I dated a rabbi's daughter when I was in high school. So I'm like, a lot of those. I actually skipped my Catholic school to go to like the Day of Atonement and Yom Kippur and those holidays.
Oh, there you go.
I was like, can I write a paper on it and get credit? Or I was always trying to work an angle, but like I was always around a lot of different cultures, and I'm grateful for that because like I don't want to ascribe to any one. So I like this kind of pioneer sense. And I like that my daughter, she, whenever she hears something in school, she gets really excited, whether it's Hanukkah now or like, I have another joke where we were in the middle of a restaurant and she grabbed me. She's like, can I talk about Black people? And she just wanted to talk about Rosa Parks. She just wanted to talk about Martin Luther King. Like,
that's a bad way to start. But
you know what I mean?
Can I talk?
You should hear when I tell that joke. And I did that at the sold out Stress Factory in front of Michael Collier. It slayed because then it's like that the tension in that moment drops.
And what you want to say about Black?
Exactly right. And then I'm like, well, as long as you don't say anything that came out of your Uncle Dan's mouth, and then how it breaks the tension. And I was like, because he's only allowed visitors every other Friday, sweetheart.
Yeah.
But that because she just says these things and because she's so interested. And I love that. I want to foster that because that's something too. I'm hoping to go to Punchline. My wife doesn't know this, but I'm hoping to go to Punchline because they have a gay showcase, LGBTQ tonight? Showcase. Yeah, tonight, 7:30. I'm excited because like that's my culture. Like that's even though I'm only like culturally gay, like everybody in my family is gay. So I love so like that to me is like home and comfort. And I love now that I don't have to hide that and I can embrace that and through comedy and through the people I've met, be able to share my experience. I'm like, oh my God, like what a sort of relief to be able to do that and embrace other cultures. So like, I don't know. I mean, I think this was a perfect episode to talk about non-traditional stuff. I love that we got into race in the beginning. I love just the, talking about the weird holidays and how we navigate, and then even like punishment, like spanking and stuff like that.
Yeah,
What a
yeah,
crazy
that's a big
thing.
one. That's a big
I mean,
one.
everybody comes across those things, and I think the reality is, it's there's not a class. We don't, there's no manual for this. We get a lot of opinions from a lot of people, but at the end of the day, it's you in that moment. You know what happened, what's going to happen, and at the end of the day, we can always say we're sorry and ask for forgiveness and prove that we're going to do better in the future.
Yeah. Like they used to, I don't know where I got this. I don't know where I got this from, but I think it was like Friday or something like that. They say Mike Epps was like, players F up too. I should do a t-shirt to say parents F up too.
Yeah.
I even as a teacher, sometimes I'll go to the class the next day and be like, hey, or I'll be upfront with them. Like, I wasn't feeling well last week. I'm like, just so you know, I'm not feeling well today. So like, let's be cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's be cool.
Cool.
You know what I mean?
Like, so it's like, I think either warning people when I know I'm not at my best, right, or when I do make that mistake and I flip the switch and I say something didn't mean to, or I know I went too far with something, because I'll get the silver tongue. Sometimes I get silver tongue passive aggressive than I would like with a hand or something like that. So it's like that's psychological warfare is just as abusive,
It is. Psychological warfare is a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal.
So it can be. So
I think psychological shit is worse than physical.
Yeah,
shit.
I agreed. So
that's the shit that'll stick with you for 35 years. You're telling yourself, I can't do this.
Yep.
Yeah, Jay tried to give me a compliment like the last time he was here. I was like, Jake, will you cut it out with the blood? I can't.
No more nice things for Neil.
They did not.
Neil, huge piece of crap.
I know. Thank you. Don't see now that makes me feel good for something.
He's like, I feel seen now.
I don't know what that is about me. It's not like I was raised in a home, but like you guys trying to be like, I don't know what that is. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if it was because my dad wasn't around. I didn't get validation through him, because all the females that I was raised by were very nice. I would say that I definitely get all my anal retentive. Like, they don't realize how much that affected me, but like the women in my family were the ones that were like, if they found out you were going on a date or like, something, they're self-conscious about something, they'd be pulling at you. You know what I mean? Touching you. It's like, go blow your nose. Like, what, just cleanse your ears? Like in front of girls, like in front of people you had over. Like I would be like, Mom, stop, please. Like, don't, you know what I mean? I'm like, stop it right now. Like,
well, even if you didn't want to have an ego, sometimes people are so adamant about not wanting to be a dickhead and not wanting to be an egomaniac that maybe it's from a place of like, oh, well, I will never be I don't want to be a dickhead, so let me just always like be like, oh no, not that, no big deal. All that shit.
Psychological was all my stuff. I didn't get. I mean, I got hit with spoons. We're Italian, so you get hit with a spoon and belts. That's pretty much.
No, the psychological. I think the psychological is way.
Well, that's why I said the spanking. The argument I've heard from people was like, it's done, it's over. The moment's passed. We're done. You've paid your debt. Move on. And that was the argument of what I heard from someone who was a practitioner of that with their kids. That's what they said. Yeah. And that is like, hey, if it wasn't a rash decision, it was an understood behavior and consequence. Like we have a student handbook at school, and it's like, hey, if you do this, this is what happened. And so if they had that as an understood rule and it was very clear, okay, I mean, I get it. Would I do it? No, but like that makes me feel a little bit better than, oh, I was having a bad day. You pissed me off even more. And I lost. The only thing I have near me is this. So now I'm hitting you with that. That to me is a little bit like, oh, I didn't have enough within me to have a plan. Right. I just reacted. You know, and that's when I think that gets out of control because maybe they tripped a wire. That's where I think your point is, like, if you tripped a wire, you didn't know. I didn't know what, whoever had a bad day and had X, Y, and Z happen at work. That's not my fault. They're bringing that. So what was in behind that swing
was not you.
How much of that was 80% of what happened to them
work today when they
I can't
got
do
documented
that
for some bullshit.
That's why people say like, oh, the guy lost a bet. Now he's going to go home and kick his dog or whatever. That's that's what's messed up about it, is when you're bringing stuff, and just because those are your loved ones, you take it out on them. That's when we have the problems. That's when abuse happens. Then that's not parenting. That's, you need to go to the gym, or you need to go. You need your own side. Why don't you go to UFC?
You're the fuck up.
Why don't you go fight someone your own size at that point, Captain? If you need to get that aggression out, you know what I mean.
What's your final word? What you got, Lamar?
Damn, you just swing it to me like that. Don't hit your kids, man. Think,
Hell yeah.
think before
Well,
you
not
hit.
that have to be. I don't know. Are we on our way out? Are we
There's
wrapping up
something.
there?
There's
Yep.
something hilarious about someone who says that they beat their kids and then calling them a practitioner. I think that I
You
know
did
what
call
you
it
meant.
that.
No. 'Cause he was like someone who was a practitioner of this. So I was like, "Well, you talking about hitting your kids?"
No,
Yeah.
I wasn't I wasn't
No, I
saying
know
for
you
me,
were. You were
but-
talking about somebody calling that person a practitioner.
That is
Practitioner.
funny.
Without, like,
All
blowing them up.
practitioner
Like
in different ways.
the art of ass whipping.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
but the
To not leave a
methodical
bruise, right?
nature of it.
I don't know. Yeah. There is something scary because mine were all reaction. There is something more terrifying to me about calculated ass whooping.
It kind of
They
felt
were
cultish.
those were fucked
Like you
up.
having like your
Dead
this is
man
called.
walking.
Yeah, like I've
Wait
never
for it.
had when my mom got home. Like my sister either just took care of it because she was a young mother and she was watching us while my mom was either at school or becoming an occupational therapist or whatever. So it was just reaction. It was like, "Yo, shut the fuck up!" Like backhand, kind of like, like that kind of
I've
shit.
caught those.
Somebody throw a shoe at your head. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
throwing a shoe at you.
Yeah.
I've never had like like wait till your dad or mom get home because you're about to get tuned up.
That's
I've
serious.
never,
That's
that's
fucked.
terrifying.
I've had
That's
that.
fucked up.
I can't
Right.
handle it.
You know how long I've sat in the toilet, bro?
That's what I mean. Like, are you
Trying
sat-
to wait the ass whooping out.
Yeah.
That's like walking the plank. That's dead man walking.
Bruh.
Shit. Every time you hear a car come,
But those were big
Yeah.
ticket. Those were big ticket items, though, right?
Yeah,
That you're talking
That,
about.
that was a parent teacher conference.
Like, I mean, that was a
Really
long
went
time
wrong.
coming.
Going wrong.
There were a lot of redirect well before you got to
There
that
was.
moment.
I had a good
Oh.
dad, and he could only parent. With parents, you can only parent from the level that you're at.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
you know?
everybody get on a horse about something. Everybody be caring about something. But at the end of the day, there's usually so much involved in those things. Nothing's as simple as like we try to fit into a TikTok
Well,
or in a blur.
Parenting is
Right.
one of the only jobs where you don't know if you're doing it right until you've been doing it for so long.
Yes.
So you can find out at 20 that all that yelling you did at me
Yeah.
fucked me up. And you're like, oh, I can't take that one back. Shit. Like do
Do you feel like, do you feel like being a teacher helped? Because I feel like I know for me, I was a teacher for like 9 years before I had my first kid.
You know what's ironic? I was just thinking about. I was just having I reflect in the shower, right? I
Yeah.
was like, damn, I thought I'd be a better parent with all that teaching experience that I had. Because I don't know. For me, like for some reason, I focus on all the negative shit I could do. Like
Mhm.
I could go 14 for 15, but think about that 15
one,
shot. I'm like,
yeah.
God damn.
The half
Well, that's
the
it. I think
half-court
that's
is-
important though.
Yeah.
The fact that you're, to
Yeah.
me, the reflection and to get better, and it's progress, not perfection, right? That's the deal.
Yeah.
We were talking about this in another episode where it's like just be there and be present.
Yeah.
Don't worry about being perfect.
Yeah.
And then that's like baseball. You're going to get enough plate appearances. It's going to work itself out, and you know who you are. You know what your intentions are. My kids know that I love them, and even they know when I'm being, hard on them. They know there's a reason, and so now. Like you've created an environment around that. And so that's all I can hope is that I've done more good and than bad. And for the bad that I did, I've apologized and made good on.
Yeah. I definitely feel that. And I like that my wife and I get to parent together. And if she sees me losing my cool, she'll be like, yo, I'm tagging you out.
Yeah, go
Knock
to the
your
shower.
shit
Hit the shower.
And, yeah.
My wife and I are
The
not, is
closest
it that smooth? Because my wife and I are not that smooth sometimes.
It hasn't got it hasn't always been, but
Yeah,
there's been
you got
enough
there.
fuck ups to be like, yo.
'Cause my
I'll
wife
tell you
had
tag
to
You
out.
get to that point, you need to
Yo, go ahead.
I did
Go play
I
video
tried to
game.
get her to sit down at the table to finish her peas on her plate. And I went into this like zone that I am ashamed of.
Yeah.
But I just had this flip. I went to what I was raised on and how many times I wasn't allowed to leave a table.
Yes, the
And
food was
I'm
done,
so
yeah.
grateful that she stood her ground. Another reason why, Amanda, you're a great mother, because she stood her ground on that. But I had too much pride
Yeah.
to
The
say
pride
it
is
in the
Ooh,
moment.
you can't- yeah.
That
And
pride is
I'll be
something.
honest about that. I had too much
You gonna let
pride.
the little kids help me.
Yeah,
What to
exactly,
do?
exactly. In my house, I
Yeah.
pay for that.
Yeah.
I pay for that. I pay for this. I do
Yeah,
this.
she
I
thinks
do
you just
that.
get away with it.
Yeah.
And that's I think happens so much, and we're too afraid to swallow it or talk about it. And,
Yeah.
but I'm glad we got to talk a lot of this out. I think for me even was cool to have a reflection. in
I
the
feel
moment.
very I feel like that was more a therapy session for the dads in the room than
How about
anything.
it?
Like I that's some deep shit right there. I got
I'm excited to go home and parent.
How
I
about
kind of
it?
want to go to this
go
gay show
get it.
though, actually.
Let's go to the gay show.
I kind of want to do
All right,
that.
well, we got to
kinda
get
wanna
out of
do
here
it
because we got to
too.
go to a gay show. So peace out.
All right, peace out.
Seriously, Dad?
Seriously,
Seriously, Dad?
seriously, Dad.
Dad? Seriously?
Dad.
Seriously? Seriously?
This has been a Drop Tent Media production.